All right, this is lesson 7 using negative exponents. Suppose a bacteria population of 1 million has been increasing by a factor of 2 every hour. What was the size of the population 5 hours ago? How many hours ago was the population less than 1,000? Well, these are interesting questions. We're basically asking, hey, we have this snapshot number. We know what it is now. And if we know that it's doubling every hour, it's a factor of 2 every hour, we can figure out how much we're going to have after 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours. But an interesting question might be, how many bacteria were there an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, or 5 hours ago? We could go backwards and calculate the population of bacteria 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago. So we could take 1 million divided by 2 for 1 hour before, and that would be 500,000. And then go one more and divide by 2, and that would be 250,000, and so on. The other way that we can do that is we can actually use negative exponents. When we're talking about t being time in hours since the population was 1 million, what we could do is we could say that, well, t is 0 when we're starting our study. 5 hours earlier would be -5, 5 hours before that. Here's how you would calculate it, writing it out. Another way you could actually do this, we have 1 million times 2, and I would say do this on Desmos actually. We can set this up. We've got a number of bacteria as a function of time equals 1 million, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, times 2 to the t power. And what I can do is I can actually just calculate the number of bacteria for any number of hours. That would be 5 hours before we started. Let's say I want to know how many bacteria there will be after 3 hours. Well, b of 3 is 8 million, or 12 hours. That's a really big number. So we can use Desmos. We can also write it out. And a negative exponent means dividing, because if we're doubling, we're multiplying by 2, but when we go back in time, we do the opposite. We divide by 2. So let's take a look at this. The equation P equals 5,000 times 2 to the t represents the population of an invasive fish species in a large lake t years since 2005. T is years since 2005, when the fish population in the lake was first surveyed. What was the population in 2005? That would be how many years since 2005? Or what does this tell us about how many fish we started with at the beginning of our survey? For this model, what does it mean when t equals -2? Well, again, t is years since 2005. So 1 year later would be 2006, 5 years later would be 2010. What do you think t is -2 is saying about the situation? And then if t is -2, is the fish population more or less than 1,000? Well, you could put it into Desmos and calculate, like I just showed you. You would just type in the equation that you need, just like this, and then put in b of -2. Or you can also remember that if it's doubling every hour, if we want to know what it was an hour before, well, instead of multiplying by 2, what would you do? Let me know if you still have questions. I hope this helps.